Alright, well, welcome to the, Tuesday afternoon, nearing evening stream. I'm your host, Apart39. It's been a week or so, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's something to go off of, I'm sure. Alright, well... Yeah. So yeah, it's been about a month or... No, not a month. A week or so since my last stream. And here I was hoping to do so infrequently, but I guess this is why I have things on auxiliary for a reason. Anyway, I'm your host, Apart39. Today I'll be streaming 2 games. Not 1, not 2, wait, it is 2. So, yeah, 2 streams, or 2 games to stream, both of which I have a very, a lot of varies, soft spot for. Starfield and... Dragon's Dogma 2. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. We're going to start off with a recurring game that I keep on playing on stream, Starfield. Why? Don't ask questions you don't want the answer for, alright? I know you don't want those answers. Okay, I'll give you the answer because I like it, okay? Anyway, so, yeah. So yeah, for the most part, what to talk about, I'm trying to think. It's been a few days, you know? Avowed came out a while ago, and well, it's getting more and more funny to see more and more people talk about it. Because now they see what I see to some extent, you know? They see the, what's the word for it, I guess you could say? The decay, the downward spiral of Obsidian. They don't want to see it. I don't blame them. But it's there. It's not even just because of Avowed either, ironically enough. I'd probably say this has been something that's been sort of ongoing for a while now. I don't know when. I don't know where. Give me a sec. What the fuck is this? Brainchild. Icarus system. I'll just put a pin on this real quick. Don't mind me, I'm just looking in a few stuff, you know? I like to peruse, okay? Okay. What the fuck? Is there any new... Actually, let me see what is featured new, because I wanna... Let me see. It's not like I want to spend anything immediately, but if there's anything worthwhile, I don't see. Why not? What the fuck is this? Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm probably not gonna get anything worthwhile, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, all these look nice and the like. But at the same time, I'm not looking to buy houses right now. Alright, let's continue where I last left off, which was ironically enough on stream, because I've been trying to get into Monster Hunter World, so I could get into Monster Hunter Wild, so I could get into all sorts of other stuff. It just becomes this downward descent into madness and mania. So, what to talk about? Let's not start off heavy-handed with Avowed, because I know I got some choice words about that, and Obsidian, and where things are, and how things are, and why the hell people didn't see this sooner, you know? I'm trying to think. Let's start off with shows right now. So lately, I've been trying to get into Breaking Bad. I'm actually watching the first season of it right now, and I got past the part... Give me a sec. I just got past the part where this is season 1 stuff, so I don't... None of the more... none of the more, cooler, more story-heavy stuff is gonna come by. So basically, I pretty much watched Walter kill a person, and pretty much I watched Walter kill the person and the like, and you know, it's just watching his descent to madness and the like, and you know, him having cancer and such. It's great. Well, not great for him, but you know, it's great overall where it's going. There's one thing I am surprised by, at the very least, is just how well the show is held up to some extent. Yeah, there's one thing I am surprised by, is just how well the show has held up in, well, at the very least, you know, like, basic enough stuff that I could point out, like cinematography in terms of, and the like. It holds up pretty well. You know, the filmmaking itself, while not my particular wheelhouse, is very... Yeah, the filmmaking itself holds up pretty well so far, at least in Season 1. It doesn't feel like a show that well, it does to some extent look like a show that came out, like, in 2008. Yes, that is when it first started. But, so far in terms of actual story writing, it's very interesting. And despite the fact that, you know, with, you know, everything out and the like, and, you know, you got prequels, you got, like, a fucking movie and the like, with Jesse and such, with all these, like, you know, extra materials despite that, yeah, despite it all, it holds up really well so far, I'd say, in Season 1. Again, this is, you know, with everything, you know, kinda known and how it's gonna end to some extent, because I'm gonna be honest, it's a show from 2012. I had no inclination to watch it until more recently, and so, you know, I know it. But yeah, no, knowing the way how it's gonna end, it's more interesting to... It isn't... I shouldn't say more interesting. It is interesting to see, like, how this descent into madness will affect the journey ahead, and, you know, what can I pick up where others, to some extent, might have missed. I probably won't pick up anything critical, but, you know, at the very least, it'll be interesting to see what other people see as well. Where's my car? Alright, so right now I'm trying to get used to this new module I got going on for the boost pack. Nope, someone's here. How's it going there, pal? Oh, look at that, you just disappeared. Nah. There's my car. Right, let's see, where else do I want to go? Forgotten military base, a cave. I just want, like, dungeons to explore to some extent, you know? I don't want to do anything, like, ecological right now. Not yet, at least, because I'm not interested in resources. I'm interested in getting credits so I could fill out my ship and try and make it even better than it is before. Alright, but yeah, so I've been watching Breaking Bad. I'm currently going through Season 1. I'm excited to see where it'll lead to, you know, at the very least with my perspective and the like. I know all the basic structures and I know how it ends because, again, you know, I had no interest to watch before until now. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the story will pan out, at least on that front. I'm trying to think what else. Well, I've been working. That's about it, really. I've just been... Lately, I've been... I wouldn't say bogged down by work, but more particularly just been trying to...
I've never grown weary of seeing places like this.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm, like, bogged down by work, but I am trying to you know, find a healthy balance. In which, I'll just say this, work is going well. I can't go into more detail because reasons, personal reasons, you know, because, you know, I like my life the way it is, private, relatively speaking. But that beside, yeah, it's just the fact that, I guess more particularly after work is the stuff that's really killing me a little bit. It's not even as though that when I come back from work I'm like totally exhausted and I'm just wanting to fucking, you know, oh crap. Oh, I ate shit on that one. Holy crap. There we go. Alright, but yeah, it's not even as though it's like, you know, when I get back from work, I'm like totally exhausted that I'm like dead or something like that. Although there have been instances where it is like that, you know, sometimes I come back from work, crash a little, and like, you know, who hasn't done that before? Sometimes it's not about the physical exhaustion, but the mental and such. I'm not gonna, you know, try and, you know, say it's like, oh man, it's like so hard. It's not that hard for me at the very least. Alright, enough me bragging, alright? Enough of me bragging about. So for the most part, I've been trying to stream for the last week and actually find the time for it. Nope. But yeah, I've been actually trying to find the time to stream. In which the problem isn't so much as like the unwillingness to like pop on stream and just be like, oh man. I'll come back thinking, it was like, oh man, I gotta stream now, you know? I was like, I'll do it tomorrow, you know, trying to procrastinate it. But, you know, it's more particularly just like, anytime I'm thinking, you know, I got time to kill, you know? I think I could probably squeeze out maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hour stream, like, you know, because that's the most I can afford after I get back from work. No, it's just the fact that... yeah, no, it's just the fact that it's like, anytime I come back from work, it's just like, it's like something's always waiting for me to get done. Which I always try to square it away within like an hour or so, right? But then afterwards, something seems to pile on afterwards on top of that. It's just like, I can't help but just like laugh a little bit. It's like, even if I didn't want to stream today. But yeah, even if I didn't want to stream today, for example, right? I'd still want to, at the very least, you know, use my time for recreation, for personal recreation and the like, right? I like to draw, you know? I've shown my art on stream. I can't say it's that great, but, you know, I participate in, you know, the sketching, the drawing. So yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, so pretty much that's what is going on, and that's what's been going on for the last week. And I expect at the very least that it's going to continue on till like the next week. God forbid I try, you know, God forbid I try to have some personal time, you know? Because my mother, I love her, you know? Yeah, my mother, got it, I love her, honest to God, and all that, right? She just loves, as soon as she sees my schedule just like all freed up and I'm freed up, it's just like, oh hey, apart, you know, not my, you know, not apart flounder, you know, my title, my actual name, like, right? It's like, oh, apart, you know, what? Seeing as you have time to kill, why don't you do this, this, and this? It's just like, fucking really? I just got back! I just walked through the front door! It hasn't even been 10 minutes, come on!
And your scan shows...
But yeah, no, I complain, you know, and you know, for some people, they're gonna say, oh, apart, you're whinging, like, right? And you know, it's true. Very true. But still, it's just like one of those things that's like, oh, come on. I can't even say that I want to, like, it's like, oh, hey, Ma, I want to use this time to stream, like, right? Because I know she's gonna rebuttal me and say, like, oh, apart, why are you streaming? It's not doing you any good. In which, okay, fair is fair, but still, it's something I like to do. I apologize if that came off, you know, too personal-like, but it's not even just streaming. It's just, again, personal recreation stuff as well. You know, personal recreation stuff, so, like, you know, sitting back, relaxing, watching, like, YouTube videos or, you know, movie. Or, you know, drawing. Shit, I can't even fucking take a nap. Still though, yeah, she's my mother. I love her and such. Alright, a lush grove. You know, I actually do need XP though, because I need to get some research done. I gotta get my booster pack research done in game. So yeah. Alright, so that's my personal life. Probably a lot more than I expected, but still. I hope that's vague enough that it doesn't reveal too much. I'm trying to think. What else has been going on? What else has been catching my ear, eye, and all sorts of other stuff? Let me think. I've been hearing telltale of a variety of, like, YouTubers, streamers, and such. People that are kind of sort of in my wheelhouse, but I know without a shadow of a doubt I'm never going to interact with them for one reason or another. The reason being that I'm not that popular in the first place, you know? But yeah, no, I've been keeping my ears down to the ground to some extent, and pretty much been hearing, like, I'm trying to think of who to choose from, to be honest. There are probably like a few I could name off, more or less two that I really hate is a strong word, dislike is another word to at the very least be synonymous with. And disdain is also another word that I could probably use. I'm trying to think. Who do I want to tackle and who do I want to risk getting people angry over and likely paint a target on my back over? Okay, I'm trying to, like, really rattle my head. How do I word this now? Boy. I just realized now that I have, like, a lot of... I just realized now that I have choice select words for a lot of YouTubers that I don't exactly agree with and don't like. It's not even as though that list is large, to be honest. It's more or less just the fact that it's like, huh. So there's this one, I hazard to say YouTuber, but this one influencer that has a prominency in... Nope. Oh boy. Oh boy, I'm stuck in this. Alright, give me a sec. Gotta make impact. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, son of a bitch. I'm glitched out because of this. I need to disable the fucking sprint jump. The sprint boost, because it's not doing me any favors right now. Alright, there we go. pray to God that loading in a new zone will fix it. No, it did not. Okay. Alright, let me do this then. Nope. It's not letting me... I just got myself lung poisoning, that's about it. Real quick, because I am fucking glitched the fuck out right now. I need to break this. I need to break it with a specific animation, because I know that... Yeah. Let me think right now. Where's the, There's supposed to be a card around here somewhere, I think. It's supposed to be a card for the fucking area thing. Actually, hold on. I got a better idea. I don't need to go fucking card hunting. Who am I in combat with? All my enemies are relatively dead. Okay, there's someone in there. Alright, give me a sec. Let me fix this right now. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, I see how it is, game. God forbid I play third person. Alright, I really... This fucking... Give me a sec. I am using Shade's booster pack real quick. And to say the least, I am, let me see. Flight handling, 0G enhancement module. Extra flight speed, flight dash. This is just kind of sort of fucking me over, if I'm being honest. And there we go. I like sprinting, okay? Okay. Alrighty. Alright, what was I talking about before? Oh, yes. YouTubers and influencers that I do not particularly like that much. That's right. So this is one YouTuber. You probably heard of him somewhere before. I refuse to talk about him, at least on an official capacity, with names, because one, his audience is very volatile, and two, the fact that his audience is very volatile. I know that doesn't narrow it down, but let's just say the man is a, let's just say that the man's views are very extreme to the point that they are... how do I say this with it? You know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna say it outright. He's pretty much the sympathizers... He's pretty much an insurgent sympathizer. For the most part, he's got like a variety of things... I'm trying to think of specifically what type of things, because I do want to narrow it down a bit, just not too much. But, this guy, he's got all sorts of opinions that are, to say the least, against the American way of life, and is also unsympathetic to a variety of people that are all the way out in, a moment. What's this? Oh, okay. But yes, he has views that are to say the least, unsympathetic to a subset of people that are currently going through a sort of conflict of interest that is pertaining towards them and their culture. And so, to say the least, the reason I don't like him isn't specifically because of that, but because of a variety of other things he said that is equally unsympathetic and without any form of... I'm trying to find another word to actually properly describe it. So pretty much without sympathy and without any sort of, let's say, accountants for how other people are. You could probably narrow that down a bit. However, I'll say this as well to throw a bone out there. The man's last name is close to Pillock. And so, I'll leave with you with that. Oh, and it's also synonymous with a long spear name. A spear that is specifically... One moment as I look this up. The length. A spear that is, on average, upwards to 10 feet long. That is as much detail as I'm willing to give, and yeah. So anyway, I've been watching some videos about him, and, you know, it's very interesting to see how other people are reacting to him, and, you know... I, to say the least, had unintentionally watched a video of his. Unintentionally being the key word, because it was one of those things that you kind of sort of like 10 at night, you know, tired out of your mind a little bit. You just want to hear something while you're playing that last match of a game before, you know, hitting the sack and the like. That's pretty much what happened. And to say the least, at first, the man is, to say the least, somewhat well-spoken, I guess one could say. However, when you actually pay attention to some of the stuff he says, it is just insanity, if that's the right word to describe it. Effectively, there is some... What the hell? Oh, that's right, there's low gravity right now. But yeah, to say the least, it's somewhere along the lines that I'm trying to really pin down. The man has charisma, but the words he's saying is insane or just meaning of nothing. And that's really the best way to put it, to be honest. But yeah, that's the best way to put it, to be honest. But yeah, so pretty much, yeah, it's just that one introspective at the very least, and that one thing, just, you know, one video I watched rather. It was interesting to see what he says and how he managed to get a following. And again, it's that facade of a well-spoken person. But yeah, as I was saying, it's that facade of a well-spoken person when really he's rallying, for lack of a better word, zealots and just a lot of people with extreme views and ideas, to say the least. That's really the best way I could put it, to be honest, with what I could tell of the audience that he's cultivated. But yeah, that's the best way I could put it. And now, with, you know, things kind of sort of getting a headway with I think it was like last month with when the new president got sworn in and the like. There's a lot of, how do I say this? There's a lot of views that are kind of sort of being reviewed to some extent or another, you know? And how people are, you know, perceiving and evaluating them to some extent. And well, this guy whose name is synonymous with Pillock and also synonymous with a spear that is of 10 foot is views are to some extent evaluated. I will not go into more detail and specifics, but it's interesting to see how something like that has sort of... Give me a sec. But yeah, it is interesting to see how, at the very least, how someone of his sphere of influence is now being questioned, to say the least. And yeah. I'm not gonna lie, honestly, bringing up this subject on this channel is something that I would never thought I would actually do willingly, but here we are. I'm going to reinvoke the rule that I imposed a while ago. Yeah. I'm going to bring up the rule that I brought up a while ago in regards to certain topics, politics among them, and to say the least, I am now going to reinforce that now. Any talk of politics, at the very least more directly than that, was now done and dusted. Let's leave it be now. And that's just been going on my end, to say the least. Seeing how people at the very least are changing in tide to some extent. If that's even the right word to describe it. But yeah. Anyway, there was also this one other YouTuber that I was watching about to some extent. I don't think anybody has actually made any direct video or, any conversation about this one besides H-Bomber guy. But, yeah. So the next guy I'm going to talk about more directly, at the very least, is old Lukey boy. But yeah. Old Lukey boy. Old Luke Stevenson. The man who has, in my opinion, no real opinion and no real allegiance. He may have the facade of someone who's like really deep and really into the topics he's talking about, but in actuality he has no stakes, no actual thoughts, no actual feelings, and he's just in it for the cash. In which, fair enough, old Lukey boy. Fair enough. I won't bang you on that too much. But at the same time, don't try and pretend that you actually do care too much about it. Oh, hey, is that unstable? Alright, let's go there. Let's see what's up with here. So yeah, to say the least, I've not been keeping up directly with old Lukey boy, to say the least. Mostly because I don't really care to watch him that much, after, well, a lot of reasons. Starfield was among one of them. However, along with that, you start to see a sort of a trend, to some extent, with him. With him, like, tailgating off of one thing, and onto another thing, and then back onto one thing, and then back onto another thing, it just becomes like... It becomes this, like, cycle that you begin to see, and you begin to think, it's just like... Do you actually have stake in any of these things? Not, like, financially, but, in terms of, like, likes, dislikes, or hell, even anything that is remotely synonymous with that of an interest, I guess. And that's really the best way I could describe it, to be honest. But yeah. More recently, he's made a video about Assassin's Creed Shadows. No surprise there. That's the big, talking point and selling point of Ubisoft, That's their next big game and the like and such, right? They're pushing out a variety of advertisements, doing all sorts of PR work so that way they can make sure that game comes out on top and it is the top Assassin's Creed game that everyone thinks about, despite the fact that that game is going to be very panned when that releases for a whole variety of reasons. Not among them is Not among them being specifically, Yasuke as a player character, although that is a factor. But, also the fact that there's, like, I'm trying to think of specifics. The disrespect of Japanese culture with the use of a variety of landmarks as well. As well as a variety of other things as well. The lack of attention to historical accuracy, in which we're not talking about, like, one-to-one historical accuracy, but, like, basic stuff, like, Greek people being in Greece, French people being in France, Japanese people being in Japan, all that jazz. That sort of stuff. But I digress. Back on topic. Because I am getting a little bit... I'm getting, tangential... Because I am getting sidelined and, on a side tangent. So, to say the least, it's kind of funny to see old Lukey boy, talk negatively about, Assassin's Creed Shadows when, I'm not joking, I got an email from Ubisoft because, I play their games for one reason or another. I got an email from Ubisoft about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And to say the least, let me see here. Guess who was on that? Let me see. Let me see if we can find it. Oh, hold on. And guess who was on that? And guess who was on that, on that email? And specifically, I will say this. I'm not going to show my email. Because, God no, I'm going to fucking show my personal details. So the email I got specifically, and you probably got this too if you play Ubisoft games. Check out what content creators think about the game. And this is again in regards to Assassin's Creed Shadows. You got all sorts of people here. You got Nick930. It does seem like those delays were worth it. The game feels very polished. Give me a sec. Nick930. Who's that? I know I watched him. I'm trying to remember specifics right now. Is he the guy that does comparisons to, like, all the game... to previous game entries and modern game entries? Yeah, he is. Okay. Okay, yeah. He is the same guy. I watch him. He's alright, He actually... it's very interesting to watch that guy's videos, but I digress. Back on topic, right? Nick930 says, yeah, it does seem like those delays are worth it. The game feels very polished. You have Legacy Gaming US. Let me see that. Who is... Legacy Gaming, who's that? Is this the right guy? Yes, it is. Okay. Wow, that's... Alright, I've never heard of this guy up until now. Then again, I'm not that big on, watching YouTubers that much. Then you have Spectre X Gaming... Oh, wait, hold on. Legacy Gaming US says... Feudal Japan is stunning, lush, vibrant, and unlike anything we've seen in previous AC games. Okay, fair enough. Then you have the finishers are brutal from Spectre X Gaming. A lot of X Gaming! Alright, I'm bullshitting right now. I'm just busting chops for no reason. Let me look this guy up again, because, again, these guys are YouTubers. It's not like I'm busting in to find their personal security intel or something like that. Let's see here. Spectre X Gaming. And then we have Man of the Hour, Luke Stevenson's TV. With the weather system and AC Shadows, they're doing something pretty ambitious. Of all the fucking quotes, you chose that? You chose that, Ubisoft. Sorry, my dog is looking at me right now. Oh no, I just find it hilarious though. It's like all these other, YouTubers and the like. It's just like they have something to say about the game directly. It's like one of them is like, Nick930 again. He's like, oh man, the game feels pretty polished, all things considered. Legacy Gaming. He's like, oh man, Feudal Japan is very lush and beautiful and the like. The art style is great, and I can interpret it at the very least that much. Then you have, then you got, what was it, Spectre X Gaming, and he's just like, no, man, the finishers are brutal. It's just like, okay, that's It's kind of broad and simple. And then you got Lukey Boy fucking with weather. Yeah. That's a selling point. Weather. Of course. It's not like that's something you already have done before, Ubisoft, right? No, God forbid you haven't done, like, rain before. Or, you know, you haven't done snow before. Go streak on breakpoint. No. I find it hilarious that under one breath, Luke Stevenson's is like, you know, is like, has like a quote used by Ubisoft. I'm not sure this is with permission, you know, for all intents and purposes. I will concede to the possibility that Ubisoft is like grabbing at straws and is like trying to like grab at every single thread of compliments that is like saying that's making Assassin's Creed Shadow out to be positive. I concede to that notion and possibility. However, I just like to, at the very least, somewhat imagine that with Luke Stevenson's, with Luke Stevens, or how you fucking say his last name, you know, Stevenson's, whatever the fuck, sorry, I apologize if for whatever reason, you know, Lukey Boy decides to watch it, you know, I apologize for getting your name wrong, but anyway, I digress. I just like to imagine under one breath, you know, Luke Stevens is like praising Assassin's Creed Shadow for its weather of all things, and then under the same breath, you know, in another video, is just like saying, "Oh man, Assassin's Creed Shadow is looking to be in big trouble." You know, it's like, "Oh, I don't know, who could have saw this coming?" It's just like, oh, give me a sec. Let me see here. Ah, damn it! Where's the other? Damn, I'm looking for the second event that is around here. Where is it? I might actually need to get out of my... Can I? No, I can't get in. Oh yeah, that's right, I can't get in because there's no deep swimming mechanics. Okay. There we go. Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright, but yeah, as I was saying, you know, I just like to imagine under the same breath when it comes to old Lukey Boy, it's just that he's gonna play the card as just like, oh man, who could have foreseen? It's like, the signs were there, and you know, it's just like, it's clear that this Assassin's Creed game was just not gonna pan out. Just like, it's like, yeah, so why do I have an email from Ubisoft that's using a quote directly from you? Again, once more, I'll give credit where credit's due at the very least. For all intents and purposes, it's Ubisoft grabbing at straws, you know, using quotes without, you know, permission and all that. Or, you know, it's likely the fact that he got sponsored and like, in which, you know, again, get that bag and the like. But yeah, get that bag and the like, you know, go you, Lukey Boy. But still, just like... I hazard to say no dignity and no principles, but to be honest, it's a fucking game. And I don't mean like, oh, it's just Assassin's Creed Shadow, it's just a game and like, but you know, even the, for lack of a better word, I guess, I'm trying to find the best way to describe it. But yeah, for, you know, playing. Alright, but you know, for like, you know, the internet and, you know, all these influential words and such, it's all a big game to some people in which you play it to get the money. And when you get the money, anything else doesn't really matter that much. So, yeah, that's that, I guess you could say. So, yeah. that was something that's actually been on my mind. Not like a lot. Like, it was like, oh my god, it's like it's consuming my life because I keep on thinking of old Lukey boy. No, but it was something that I just kind of find a little bit funny to think of, to the very least, think and see a little bit. Just like, man, that's brazen, you know? That's the best way I could describe it at the very least. Just like, man, that's just brazen, you know? Let me see, do I have any... There we go. Got a cave, more caves. Oh man, look at this. It's all quiet and cold and the like. It's great. It's just great. Oh, look at that. Starborn here. It's triply great. Alright, let's move away from YouTubers that I, again, hate is a strong word, but most certainly, definitely, at the very least, hold some disdain a little bit over. Oh, I'm being shot at. This is just gonna last way too long if I sit here and thumb up my ass in my car. If you think you using your shield is gonna deter me, you're wrong. If anything, I got more bullets I could spare. Yeah, that's right. See you in the next cycle over. So anyway, yeah, moving on from YouTubers that I really wouldn't say I hate, but most certainly do have some disdain for, a disliking towards. I don't mean them any ill harm or anything like that, nor do I go out of my way to really call them my nemesis, although I would say that I do have a bit of a... No, vendetta is also a bit of a strong word. Even calling it an agenda, just like accountants with, I guess. If that's even the right word to describe it. But anyway, yeah. I'm not sure even a score is really the right word to describe it, to be honest, either. But yeah, so when it comes to... Aside from that, what else has been going on? It's, you know, I can't see. Anyway, you know, let's cut the foreplay and get to the actual main act, so to speak, to some extent or another. At the very least, the main act of me complaining and, you know, sort of talking about things that I don't like a little bit. Man, remember in my days when you get to have a silo cup in everybody's hands when you went out partying? Alright, no, I'm bullshitting. So, let's talk about Avowed. More details about Avowed has come out for a variety of things. Among them was the way that it was developed, as well as the way that it was sort of handled with the way that the game is portrayed a bit. Now, to say the least, Avowed currently is sitting on Steam to be very positive. However, I'll say this right now, my personal thoughts are, and it's the fact that people are coping with the fact that Obsidian made a bad... well, at worst, a bad game. At most, a very, 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 very unexceptionally exceptional mid-mediocre game. That's the best way I could put it, at the very least, in the nicest way possible when it comes to positives. Because I have a variety of choice words, and all of them derive from the fact that I played The Outer Worlds, and I really loathed my time with it. I would stretch the word of saying I hated The Outer Worlds, but I greatly disliked it and have great disdain for. Back on topic, though. When it comes to Avowed specifically, at the very least, when it comes to Avowed specifically, at the very least, it is to some extent opened a can of worms, not just to, you know, Obsidian, but to some extent other games that people have to some extent been missing out, have sort of been lambasting on. In particular, at the very least, when it comes to Obsidian... When it comes to Obsidian games, people always love to harp on the fact that, oh, Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 were great, and, you know, they made Fallout New Vegas their biggest, for lack of a better word, among, you know, people that are just casually, you know, Obsidian fans, are just, like, touting off as the greatest thing to come since sliced bread. Give me a sec, I got something in my nose a bit. So, as I was saying, let me see here. You see missing post, abandoned farm. Ooh, we got all sorts of stuff here. We've hit civilization, baby. All right. Oh, there he is. There we go.
Always worth checking. Never know what you might find in their pockets.
Alright, but yeah. So, when it comes to Avowed and the way that it's been, at the very least, compared to other games, it is to some extent woken people up from the, for lack of a better word, Obsidian slump is what I'll call it, because people constantly say, oh man, Obsidian's better because, you know, they made Fallout New Vegas, and that's all they made, apparently. Some people also remember the older titles they've made, you know, like KOTOR 2 and, you know, yeah, like KOTOR 2, or I'm trying to think specifics, what else. You know, I think that's the only thing that people kind of remember them for outside of Fallout New Vegas. Oh, wait, no. Alpha Protocol. There we go. It slipped my mind for a moment, but I knew it was on the tip of my tongue. Anyway. So yeah, people remember Obsidian for their older titles, and, you know, Alpha Protocol, KOTOR 2, and also Fallout New Vegas. Despite the fact that 2 out of the 3 games were relatively unfinished. I'll have you guess which one of those games were unfinished. Plot twist, it's not 2 of them, it's 3 of them. Alright, I'm being mean. I'm being a little bit mean on that. Point beside, people to some extent hold Obsidian in high regard because of those, at the very least, until recently, 3 games. Because Alpha Protocol was kind of sort of left on the wayside and kind of sort of forgotten as this, like, you know, game that's just, like, there and existed for a time. Until this one video came out about, you know, one guy gushing about the writing of Alpha Protocol and how the RPG and writing hold up really well and such. Alright, I'm getting on a tangent, but yeah. But yeah, people hold Obsidian in high regard because of those 3 games to some extent or another. And despite that, at the very least 2 of the 3 games were a majority unfinished, it still is held in high regard, despite it all. But then you got like other games too that they made. Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, and then you got like a few other games as well that people kind of sort of forgot and don't really remember that much in the first place anyway. Give me a sec. There we go. But yeah, so there's a reason why Obsidian is held to high regard at the very least, and it is for a fairly valid reason, but I would say for me at the very least, I hazard to say, great decline, but their shift in quality has become prominent, at the very least, with their last somewhat quasi... What the fuck? Was I here before? Huh, I was. Okay. But yeah, I hazard to say that their great decline, you know, their great decline, but at the very least their shift and change in quality, was probably most prominent when Fallout 76 was released, and by proxy, The Outer Worlds was released. Oh shit. Oh no! But yeah, and by proxy at the very least, The Outer Worlds was released as a sort of like, kinda sorta quasi bullshit answer. The Outer Worlds, from my recountants, without any strong, disdainful, and personal disliking biases, the Outer Worlds, from what I remembered of my first playthrough, was a game that started off pretty strong, very interesting, very compelling to some extent, with its setting and, you know, the tackling of space and, you know, it being a more or less akin to a CRPG brought into a 3D space logic. It was okay, I guess. In terms of raw gameplay, it was kind of sort of on the mediocre side. In terms of the writing, it was kind of sort of interesting at times. But when you go in for a second playthrough, it falls apart almost immediately afterwards. And then, well, that's really about it, to be honest. A lot of people were writing on The Outer Worlds just because of Fallout 76's, at the time, perceived failure. And that failure was mostly due to the fact that it wasn't a traditional RPG. There was a lot of technical issues going on about it. People were kind of sort of, you know, resentful towards Bethesda for, you know, for breaking their mandate a bit. Oh, sorry about that. It's my dog. Alright. You got kicked out of the donut, pal? Alright, sorry. Anyway. But yeah, it was mostly due to the, you know, variety of things that were going on at Bethesda at the time.
I could really use some assistance. I wasn't expecting to see anyone else out here. I'm glad you stopped by. We tried to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city, but I think we're in over our heads. Off-grid living just isn't for us. Think you could take us with you on your way out? We'd be out of your hair as soon as we reach the nearest port.
I'll be sure you get there in one piece.
Great. We'll see you aboard.
Off-the-grid living isn't up to your standards? Come on. You gotta roughneck it a little bit. You got like all sorts of basic stuff going on out here. I'm sure you got like running water and the like. Then again, you don't really know what you're made of until you actually commit to it, so, you know, it's understandable a little bit. Anyways, I was saying, so, yeah, no, for most part, outside, sorry, I'm getting tangentially sidetracked right now. Give me a sec to regroup my thoughts right now. Okay. So, for most part, when it comes to the Outer Worlds and the reason why it was like well known in the, for lack of a better word, public zeitgeist or public gaming zeitgeist, was due to the fact that Fallout 76 was at its decline, and people wanted the Outer Worlds to be good, and people kinda sorta did make it seem out to be good. But I'm gonna be straight with you. As soon as you finish your first playthrough and you go in for a second, that second playthrough, you're just thinking to yourself, man, do I really want to play through this again? And I'm sure, you know, some people have had this thought process a little bit for one reason or another. You know, for example, whenever I play Persona 5 or Persona 4, to some extent, in finishing it, I just think to myself, man, do I want to play this again? And then I don't play it again for like a year, for like a few months, and then afterwards it's like, oh hey, Persona 4, Persona 5, you know? It's been a while since I played this game. But yeah, Persona 4, Persona 5, oh man, it's been a while since I played this game. Let's go through it again. And then I just like, you know, go through it, beat the game, and then it's just like, oh man, this is great. Maybe we should do another playthrough. Yeah, maybe another time. And this isn't just Persona as well. This is like The Witcher, like for me at the very least, Witcher 3 when it came out as well. It's just like, man, that was great. Do I want to continue playing it? Eh, maybe another time. Go through the main story at another point in time. And then like a year, and then like when it came up, when I got it for PC, it was just like, all right, let's play it again. And then I enjoyed it. I loved every single moment of it. And then I just like, I don't want to play it again. And I play it again. The Outer Worlds does not have that experience.
I'm glad someone came along. We could really use your help. Our outpost has been under attack by armed criminals. After they do their business, they load back into their ships, only to come back again later. We feel hopeless.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Please, be careful.
But yeah, the Outer World does not have anything in that sense. It doesn't have that replay value. Outside of like the moments where it's just like, oh man, this has got to be better than Fallout 76. It just holds no weight and no substance outside of that. And this is even more seen when you really look back on the promotional material used for the Outer Worlds specifically. It sports and touts off the boldness and audacity from the creators of Fallout New Vegas. The audacity. And I said this on stream countless times before, and I even said it to a few friends that I've met in person. So I'll say it again. That's the equivalent of saying Hideo Kojima, you know, doing that like publicly for a trailer, just like, from the creator of Metal Gear Solid. It's just like, oh wow, you made Metal Gear Solid? What was the last Metal Gear Solid game you made? 4 years ago? What game are you making now? Death Stranding? What's it about? Being a mailman? What's it got to do with Metal Gear Solid? Alright, but yeah, that's how it kind of sort of feels like, you know? It's just like you're residing on the laurels of a game that, at this point in time, when the Outer Worlds was announced, was like, I was in college, so it was around like 2019 to like 2018. Let me double check. Fuck. When did the Outer Worlds come out? Let me look this up. 2019, I was in college, so at that point in time, Fallout New Vegas came out around the same time as, maybe a year earlier than Skyrim, right? So, 2010. You're talking about a 9-year-old game that, you know, I respectfully, you know, played before, but at the same time, you know, also kind of sort of been 9 years since I played as well, so, you know. So to say the least, you know, at that point in time, just like, so what have you done since, you know, so what have you done since then, huh? Oh, we've made Pillars of Eternity.
Good think about buying something from our shop. Really need the business. How did it go?
Alright, space is dealt with.
That's great news. Please take this.
Alright, let me check what... I'm gonna regret this because I know for a fact I'm gonna get spotted real quick. I mean, real quick, sidetrack.
This is Freestar Collective Space. Hold while we scan your ship. Scan complete. Go ahead and land.
Alright, give me a sec. Alright, there we go. So yeah, for me at the very least, it was just like kind of sort of like it's just like the audacity, you know, the gall, the chutzpah to some extent to use Fallout New Vegas. It's just like, okay, well, you know, is Josh Sawyer involved? Is anyone involved? And as far as my knowledge extends, I don't think any of them were really directly involved. It was just the people that made Fallout New Vegas. So it's just like, not exactly the same thing, you know? Yeah. Give me a sec, I gotta... Alright, I gotta go to the Trade Authority directly then.
Even the Rangers have been impressed.
Oh my god, I got 4,500. Alright, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, no, it's just... It's just something like that kind of sort of touts off a little bit to me, just like what the quality of it is going to be a little bit, you know? That's how I felt at the time. And I still got it, you know? I enjoyed my first playthrough, but afterwards, when it came to the Outer Worlds, I just did not care for it that much afterwards. That's really the most modest thing I could say about it. I just did not care for another playthrough. And yeah, that's really about it. So what is that gonna do with, I guess, Avowed? Well, to say the least, again, circling back to Avowed, I felt like the Outer Worlds was a sign of things to come with that. But yeah, I feel like Avowed was, or no, the Outer Worlds was a sign of things to come for where Obsidian was heading. In which, you know, I can't say I didn't want Avowed to succeed. I really did want it to. The problem is that when you see how the Outer Worlds plays out, or how it played out initially and the like, it sort of becomes hard to ignore a bit. And then you got just like a few things like going for it as well. Like, for example, you got like a slew of delays. You had more recently with the artist of Avowed, or, you know, the lead, I think it was like the lead artist of Avowed, going off and, you know, fighting its player base and like, you know, all that sort of stuff kind of sort of culminated into the game sort of leading into a direction where Obsidian has changed, and how Avowed is not going to live up to the standards of what it was going to be. If not gameplay, then particularly, possibly, and most distinctly enough at the very least, was likely the writing was going to suffer. And so, that's how I felt throughout the entire time I saw Avowed's, you know, whole thing. I felt wary, skeptical throughout the entire, you know, marketing process, I guess you could say. And I was hoping that my feeling of it being a repeat of the Outer Worlds, I was hoping that it would have been squashed. Problem is, the Outer Worlds 2 trailer dropped. And when the Outer Worlds 2 trailer dropped, it... Give me a sec. I think I'm slingshotting around willy-nilly. You know what? It's time for a change right now. I'm clearly a little lost. I'm clearly a little frazzled. And I got some things I need to work out right now. So let's switch gears over to another game. Stand by as I switch my topics right now. Alright, I'm back. Well, I didn't really leave in the first place, but still. Alright, so... So as I was saying... Sorry, I'm trying to think where I picked the last left off. So, when it came to the Outer Worlds 2 trailer dropped, and to say the least, it kind of sort of gave the toll of the fact that Obsidian has changed, and not in a way that people likely wanted. They've changed as an RPG developer and maker, and to say the least, I'm trying to find the best way to describe it when I saw the Outer Worlds 2 trailer. Because at first, I was thinking to myself, maybe the Outer Worlds 2 is going to be an improvement to, the Outer Worlds 1. Maybe it'll be, objectively better at the very least, Maybe it'll be somewhat of an improvement. Maybe it'll take a more serious and direct tone compared to its predecessor, where before it was kind of sort of like meandering between being a comedy to a drama to a comedy again, and just like it's not bad, I guess you could say, with the way that it wanted to try and replicate the older Obsidian titles, but it just doesn't seem to like it doesn't really fit, is what I would say, to what it is that the Outer Worlds really should have been, I guess. Which was, I guess a hopeful story. Oh crap. Oh god, I'm being harassed. Oh man, that was a hell of a drop. Sorry, my dog is kinda... Give me a sec. Give me a sec, my dog is right now being a little needy. He just keeps on getting back... He just keeps on leaving my lap and getting back on. Alright. Alright, here you go. I'm here for you, pal. I got your favorite blanket that you love to be just covered in. Here we go. Anyway, as I was saying a bit at the very least. So, I feel like Outer Worlds' story should have just been like a hopeful story in a bleak situation. What it ended up being was just like this really, for lack of a better word, somewhat schizophrenic and bipolar story about corporations and incompetency. The fact that everyone is so ingrained and indentured to the corporations that it's become a way of life for them and the like. And so, that sort of thing, at first, it's kind of funny. Just like, ha-ha. But, you got like, ha-ha. You got people that don't know any better and, are just ingrained to, corporations. Maybe there's going to be someone that's going to be a bit wiser to it. No, everyone is just... It's everyone that's, like, really into the corporate meandering and gandering and the like. It's just become exhausting. And when it comes to the Outer Worlds 2's trailer, it kind of sort of perpetuated the fact that it is going to be a totally inconsistent game and story. Like, it's going to be like, on 1 minute, it's going to be like, oh man, there's this terrible war crimes going on that were left behind by the corporations, and how... But yeah, it's gonna be like under one breath, it's gonna be like, man, the corporations left things in a mess. We need to try and fix things for the better. Yeah, it's gonna be something along those lines. And then in the same breath, it's just like, man, if only we had someone that was gonna be a capable leader and someone that's gonna, you know, be the hero and the like, or, you know, something like that, you know? That's what it's gonna be like, and that's how it's gonna feel like a bit. It's just gonna be this whole thing where it's gonna be like, under one breath, trying to be dramatic and serious, and then in the next breath, try and be all meta, cool, and funny and the like. It's just like, it doesn't work if there's not like a sort of consistency attached to it. And that's how it's gonna be, I feel, when it comes out. It's just gonna be tonally inconsistent, and it's just gonna be trying to be funny in times where it shouldn't really be funny. And so, this kind of sort of brings us back to Avowed a little bit. From my hearings and understandings, outside of the game's, you know, core stuff and content, we'll get to that, don't you worry. The story of Avowed is just kind of sort of limited. And even more so, at the very least, it's just very much... I'm trying to find the best way to describe it. But yeah, it's kind of sort of gimped and sort of like... Oh, man, I'm trying to think right now. It's kind of sort of gimped and just without any sort of, you know, player agency attached to it. Now, if you're going to ask me about specific plot hooks, I cannot tell you because I have not actually looked into the actual story of Avowed. However, I could probably attest to the fact that it's probably not as good as the actual Pillars of Eternity games, and this is somewhat confirmed a little bit with the fact that when it comes to the writings, at the very least of like characters that you interact with and how they pan out and the like, how they react to you and how they try and, you know, how Obsidian would probably try and, you know, make them likable to one extent or another. They don't have any sort of like likes or dislikes or anything that would make your relationship to you, the player, anything more meaningful. And I'm not even talking about romances, but like platonic friendships, relationships that go beyond outside of what the initial story scope is. So, from my understanding, you play as an Adherent envoy. But yeah, you play as an Adherent envoy, you know, someone high up, you know, in rank and such. And you pretty much are given the full, you know, envoy treatment, like. Thing is, though, is that it doesn't really go anywhere beyond that. It just goes from being like, oh man, you know, you're the envoy of Adherents, or you're the envoy from Adherent, right? I have to, you know, protect you and the like, and that's really about it. It's just like, oh, you're the Adherent envoy. Oh man, I should tag along with you because, you know, you're likely to get in all sorts of trouble or some shit like that. Give me a sec. But yeah, your companions are less, you know, actual characters and more or less one-dimensional cardboard cutouts of what should be a character at the very least. And that's really the best way to put it in that front at the very least. Ah, damn it. Ugh, fuck. Shit. God damn it. I'm trying to fucking get those perfect blocks like a gremlin. And I'm not able to pull those off. It's bullshit. Come on! There we go. Just literally chopping away at his gonads, man. This feels dirty. Ah, damn it. Alright, quick. Time to chop away at his crotch. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, that just seems really dirty.
各社様、またこちらへお手伝いいたしますよ。こんな希少な強化素材が手に入るなんて、まさに幸運です。
Alright, Raffi, let's go. I think that's also Mikasa's voice actress, too. There we go. My personal favorite movesets. I think this is the way to fight the Medusa. Oh man, I'm trying to remember. I gotta get a Medusa head. Yeah, I want to try and get a Medusa head if I can help it. All right, excellent.
わかりました。各社様のそばにいます。
There we go. Alright. Oh man, sorry. I'm getting distracted right now a bit. Let me try and finish up my thoughts on Avowed a little bit. Because I know for a fact that it's just kind of sort of one of those things that like hanging around and the like. So yeah, in terms of writing thus far, from what I understand, there's no like branching paths to a different story. At the very least, that's like clever or interesting for players to like legitimately follow through. The characters you interact with are kind of bland and boring to some extent with the way that they're kind of like one-dimensional, as I mentioned before. Some of them are interesting in the more broader sense of the word, and I'm giving like the biggest, widest berth as much as I can possible. But yeah, I'm giving like the biggest benefit of the doubt in terms of like it being like, you know, right, in terms of it being like, you know, engaging writing, like, right? And so, to say the least, it's not as good as previous Obsidian games. The most I've heard of it being in the positives, it is mediocre at best, which is not exactly, I would say, a bad thing, but not exactly what I call a good thing either. Especially when you account for like certain other stuff as well, like, for example, you know,
私がお手伝いします。よろしいですか？
like certain other things, like, you know, actual gameplay content. The gameplay of Avowed, from what I understand, is really a big hit and miss right there. A lot of the stuff boils down to it being like really I'm trying to think. What's the best way I could describe it? It's kind of, sort of... it pretty much is the best way I could describe the Outer Worlds combat. It's there, it's not that interesting, and it's not that intuitive. The world itself, you think would be interesting, but that in itself is also not that interesting either. Jesus Christ, you want to see a slime at work? Alrighty. Alrighty, but yeah. In terms of gameplay of Avowed, which is something that I can at the very least visually confirm, the game is just not that interesting. In terms of role-playing, it's also not that interesting. As I mentioned with the writing prior, the writing is just... which is not something that you think... Sorry, I'm repeating myself. Give me a moment to regroup my thoughts again. Okay. Ah, shit. There we go. But yeah, no, with Avowed's writing and the like, it's just... in terms of roleplay and in terms of like actual gameplay content, it is sparse. In terms of like combat gameplay, it's very just... I hazard to even say average, and more or less just stock, atypical combat, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's pretty much like stock, atypical gameplay, like your typical first-person / third-person action game, I guess, with melee options, which you think would sound interesting, but ironically enough, it isn't. Mostly due to a variety of factors. The fact that there's a lack of impact, a lack of weight, and a lack of anything that makes combat interesting for Avowed. I'm trying to think what else. There's no diversity with its weapon roster. There's no accountants for what build you're playing, because if you sneak around in heavy armor, you're apparently as effective as someone that's sneaking around in light armor, or medium armor, or any type of armor that is of lesser weight to it. Then you also have, I'm trying to think what else to like think on that I heard and saw. Then you have just like the world itself. Exploration as a gameplay mechanic in Avowed is just not that interesting. Now, you saw me earlier play Starfield, in which one could argue Starfield's exploration is not that interesting to some extent or another. And they are within their prerogative to believe and think that. I won't lie, at times when it comes to exploring Starfield, it can sometimes get a little boring. The fact that there's like, a variety of dead space in between and all that jazz. A lot of downtime, effectively. But yeah, a lot of downtime between traveling and the like, right? In which that's a fair thing to, critique on, to say the least. There we go. Let's see, is there any... Ooh. Is there no other... But yeah. Alright, give me a sec. Give me a sec. I just fucking decided to jump into the lizard's den. There we go. Look at that. Swift as my feet can carry me. Come on, make your best shot. God damn, that's great. Alrighty. There we go. Excellent. Alright, so, yeah, in terms of the exploration component of Avowed, it's just subpar compared to its comparator, to its comparison, in which people will often and likely compare it to the Elder Scrolls games, and even any other Bethesda games that was also made by, any other Bethesda games that were made in the same vein. So Fallout 3, Fallout 4. To a minor extent, people will probably concede to Fallout New Vegas. And then you have also, of course, Starfield. When it comes to Avowed's world exploration, it is literally just set dressing the game. And that's the only way I could describe it particularly. It's just set dressing. Nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't have anything interesting to explore, and it has nothing much going for its world space in the first place. And to some extent, some might see that as a trifling thing, it's like something that's like, it's like, it's just the world, the writing is interesting still, and just like, I have seen Obsidian's writing with the Outer Worlds, and if you call that decent writing, well, more credit to you, but can we at least agree objectively it's at worst really pretty bad to at most kind of mediocre compared to anything else they've written and made since those times? That's really the best way I could put it, at the very least. But yeah, that's the best way I could put it, at the very least, with the way that the game just handles itself a bit. There's a variety of things you could do theoretically, but there's not a lot of things you can do. A lot of it is just like straight and narrow linear stuff, in which, that's objectively fine, but when it comes to a game like Avowed and what it tries to set out to do, it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that a game like Avowed went on to have as many things that it theoretically could have, and at the same time failed to uphold and strive for those things. For example, the interaction with the main city world you're interacting with, it's kind of just meh. And in terms of like NPC interactions as well as, crime and anything interesting, it's also kind of meh. The NPCs don't move around, they're static props. And along with that, you also have, I'm trying to think specifically as well, you have the fact that a lot of things and details are missing, which, they're small, they're somewhat ignorable. But then it kind of sort of piles up a little bit. So there's no law and order system. There's no stealing by technicality. You're just taking things that, like, oh, A deer and envoy. You wanted that? Oh, no problems. You know, I'll just starve, I guess. You know, all that sort of stuff. And you have just this world that is static and unmoving. And that's the best way to put it. It's static, unmoving, and without anything that's like making it seem like it's alive. Which some might say is like, oh, apart, you know, it's a linear game. It's supposed to be like that. Counter argument: the Pillar of Eternity games has a crime system, a wanted system, as well as a variety of things you can and cannot do, in which it has a law and order system too, as a sense of exploration as well. And while admittedly the NPC routine isn't there, you still get the sense that these characters have lives with the writing. But you know, that's neither here nor there. There's been plenty of videos about people comparing Avowed to like the Elder Scrolls games, right? To Skyrim, to Oblivion, and the like. And people have begun to appreciate more with what vanilla Skyrim and Oblivion did. It was like, sure, you know, back then, like a few months ago, people were probably going to be touting off the fact like, oh man, the only reason why Bethesda games are really that good in the first place is because you have this vast mod support. True, but that is only like at least 1/5 to a quarter of the way true. It is the fact that these games are actually interesting, they're alive, they're engaging to some extent. Oblivion is old, but it still has its merit and charm somewhere. Give me a moment. Sorry, it's my dog again. Oblivion is old, but it still has its charm and merits in the fact that it tried to make an active, living world in a time where, you know, technology was kind of sort of in its, you know, fledgling infancy, you know, advancing stage effectively, right? And then you have Skyrim that came by. It pretty much one-upped what Oblivion did. Sure, it streamlined a few things, but it still maintained what made the Elder Scrolls games interesting in the first place, in which it's a living, breathing, active world to some extent. You could perceivably go into someone's house, see that they're not home, and then come back a few hours later and you see them, you know, standing around, eating dinner and the like. That's the type of thing that you expect out of a Bethesda game, or, you know, not even a Bethesda game, but just like an open world game. A lot of games have, to some extent, tackled that a little bit by bit since. Admittedly, in portions, but still, they've tried to pursue that a bit. And Bethesda themselves have still maintained that as well with Starfield. Well, not exactly one-to-one with certain things, like shopkeepers are still at their stores 24/7, and, you know, you still have people, like, kind of sort of standing around, you know, static and the like. I admit, there's not as much things, you know, not as much of the finer bells and whistles that are there in Starfield compared to its predecessors, but you still get the sense that these characters have a sense of their own lives. You could ask people, the most generic person in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, hey, how's life out here? You know how it is, harsh living and all that, you know. Just glad you came by, you know, it's been a while since we had good company out here and such, you know, all that jazz. It still has a crime system, it still has an intrusion system when you trespass and the like. It still has all these things that are in the previous game. Admittedly, some things are missing, again, like NPC schedules, and that's because there's 2 timetables going on in the game, local time and global time. And, you know, it's kind of hard to try and balance those out a little bit. What happens in New Atlantis is not really relevant to what happens in Aquila City, because it's not set place in the same world space, you know? Alright, just soak it in a bit right now. But yeah, no. Starfield, a objectively a objectively weak Bethesda title is still somehow strong. Is still stronger than Obsidian's newest title that's come out in every respect, I'd say, in terms of long-term play. Sure, currently it's got like 10,000 players, which, is a modestly successful margin, and you got people on Game Pass. But I kind of sort of feel that's sort of a cop-out answer a little bit, with the fact that, it may be 10,000 players now, but what's it going to look like in like a month or so? It's probably going to look like 1,000, maybe a little bit more, admittedly, but it's not going to be people that are coming back because they like the game that much. There may be some people, I can see to that, but still, at the same time, it's just not really that exactly, But yeah, it's probably not going to be exactly people that are coming back to play it like willingly and the like, right? That's how I feel a little bit, at least. But yeah, that's how I feel a little bit, at least. It's just like, people are going to come back and play it, but they're going to come back and play it in the sense that it's like the same way you look and try and dissect a frog in science class, It's just like, man, how the hell did this happen? Like, why did it happen like this? It's not going to be like well, again, it's probably going to be someone out of legitimate enjoyment, but still, it's going to be kind of sort of like on the wayside a bit. Twilight Star. Champion's Mantle. I want to get the Charming Corset, but it's going to be a ways off. Alright, let me think. I want to try and find Medusa, and I'm trying to remember where she is. Where in the world is Medusa? I think she should have respawned at this point. See here. So this is where alright, so let me see real quick. I think it's somewhere around here specifically. Yeah, no, I think it's like somewhere around here, I think. Pretty much where the border between Vermund and Batal is. Let me make sure. I should probably look it up and make sure, but I'm fairly confident. But yeah, I'm fairly confident right now that that is where it is going to be. It's gonna be like somewhere in this area. Let me see, because I do not want to fight Atlas again, because it is going to be an insufferable pain in the ass. Oh no, let me see. I do not want to fight Atlas and just have to deal with his shit, so let me see. Netta Batal Windrift, that's where it is. Right. Well, this is just going to be a fun little trek back, yeah? Ugh. God. I wish I could fly, but I can't. Oh well. Let's go to Bakbatal. Up, up, and away! But yeah, to finish up, my thoughts on Avowed. Yeah, no. It's hard to say what it means for Obsidian. they're probably still going to exist. You know, people are going to still herald their games in terms of... Yeah, people are still going to herald their games and, you know, praise what they come out with. But at the same time, the old guard of Obsidian is gone. Josh Sawyer, Tim Kaine, you know, Christopher Alvalone, and all these people from Black Isle, they're gone. They're not with Obsidian. They're not dead either, but you know, they're just not there anymore. And now you got all these new people that are trying to fill in their shoes, you know? They could certainly try, you know, Capcom, for example, they have like a lot of their old guard gone, right? But they still got new people coming in, reinvigorating their older titles. You know, they're still, you know, pushing out new games and the like. It's, you know, it's still, for the most part, they're trying to maintain their I'm not sure maintaining status quo is the right word to describe it, but, you know, they're still making decent games despite the fact that, you know, that some of their older staff is gone. You know, Shinji Mikami, you got like, you know, Hidetake Itsuno and all these other people and the like, you know. Alright. There we go. Alright, but yeah. Alright, but yeah, no, to say the least. Yeah. Who's to say what happens with Obsidian now? I hope that they'd still be around, but they're probably gonna suffer some serious layoffs to some extent. At the very least, and unfortunately, probably severe reorganization. Changing out staff, trying to find new people and the like. That sort of deal. I can't say it's not predicted to be that way, but it may as well be. Speaking of which, it's funny the fact that a lot of stuff I point out Avowed, I kind of sort of see in Dragon's Dogma too. However, inversed a little bit. Well, a lot to be honest. Alright, but yeah. It's funny to think that a lot of the stuff that I complain about Avowed, to some extent, Dragon's Dogma, in theory, should have this same sort of problem. But unironically, it doesn't have that sort of issue, I guess you could say. It doesn't have that issue. Despite the fact that the world should theoretically be similar in that respect, it still is a lot more lifelike, or a lot more alive, when you leave the city and the like. Sure, there's not many people out there, but at the same time, you still got, like, all these, like, wars, like, mini battles and, like, going on, like, right? You still got these conflicts between people and, you know, pawns, or these creatures in pawns and the like, and all sorts of... But yeah, all sorts of things going on in Dragon's Dogma. It's kind of sort of like Stalker's A-Life a little bit, although not on the same one-to-one scale where A-Life is like simulating all sorts of stuff. going on, like, you know, interactions with the world and the like. It's more or less simulating life between combat and the like. It's only when you get to the cities that you actually see people go about their business. Admittedly, where they go is kind of sort of a mystery, a little bit, but to another extent, they still have a sense that these people have lives outside of you, compared to Avowed, where people are just statically waiting around like props. The only people that really do have this, in theory, is like shopkeepers. But even then, you feel like that they're here by their own choice a little bit, where they still like have some vim in them a little bit, and the fact that, you know, you still got like less people around and such. Actually, now that I mention it, if you go to Vermont, if you go to Vermont, people there actually have a schedule, and I think Bakbatal is kind of the same thing, outside of like a few generic NPCs and the like. You still got some people with homes, some people without homes and the like. It's actually interesting to see the world be alive in that respect. Shit, but yeah, you see people like actually moving around the place, you know, in the world and the like. Combat actually has weight and, you know, impact and the like as well. The way you have like classes that actually dictate how you can and can't play. If you play as a fighter, for example, you can't like go around sneaking around behind people, right? You actually have to like play like the thief class or someone that is more agile by comparison. You have spellcasters that are not that much useful in close quarters combat, but in terms of like support or, you know, ranged attacks, they're still very useful. Hell, despite the fact that I'm playing with just my main pawn, you could see the fact that my character... But yeah, you could see the fact that if I had like more people in hand, that these whole encounters would probably be a lot more trivial to some extent, you know? Gotta get a good, nice... Ah, oh, damn it. Double shit. I remember back in the day, if you ever get caught with petrification, you gotta get yourself a panacea or secret softener, in which, God help you if you didn't have any one of those. My first fight with a cockatrice was awful. Oh, shit. Okay. Don't get caught in the light, don't get caught in the light, don't get caught in the light. You know, funnily enough, there's actually a way you can turn Medusa's eye against her. And yes, it is with a mirror shield. I actually have that as well. But I need the head intact. Son of a... Ah, son of a bitch. Being flung around. Stay still, Medusa, you silly bitch. I need that head of yours. Come on, give me a good chop. Ah, shit, come on. Come on. Come on. Good chop, good chop, good chop. Oh! Oh! Damn it! Fucking withered away. Ugh. Fucking hell. Well, that was awkward. There's nothing I can get from here, I don't think. Alrighty. Alrighty, but yeah, no. I wonder if there's going to be any DLC for Dragon's Dogma 2. Capcom has proudly proclaimed that Dragon's Dogma is one of its main franchises. So I don't see why it wouldn't. Oh, let me... I am never going to be using this Medusa head against Atlas because I can never get a preserved one. Yep. Lost all the contents of fighting it, but hey, what can you do, I guess? You know what? I think I should probably just trigger the Atlas fight at this point. Then again, where am I going again? Let's see if there's a dragon out here. Alrighty. Clean up. So I should remiss that I am wearing the full title armor, I guess you could say. Or the armor that you see in the trailers. Stygian Omen with the Fiend Armet helmet, and theoretically, I guess, the, let me see here. The Vigilant Greaves. This is the full set that you would see in the trailers. The shield is up for debate, and I know for a fact that the sword used in the trailers is Steel Virtue, in which, you know, not a bad sword, I guess, but it's not that great statistically. Oh my god, look at that, guys! There's actual burning grass, unlike in Avowed. It's crazy. Oh my god, there's so much variety in its combat and traversal and just the way that it handles a lot of its features. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. God, look at this. It's like a full-blown scrap fest. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 1, a well thought-out choreographed fight. Dragon's Dogma 2, scrap, boy, scrap. Come on. Run them hands. Put them paws up. I wonder if we'll get like a case of like the Bitter Black Isles at some point. Man, the gear from Bitter Black Isles was like great. I loved it. Not just statistically, but also just in terms of raw like aesthetic. It was really good. I hope we get to see something like that sort of make an appearance in Dragon's Dogma 2 in DLC. But yeah, that'd be great. All right. Damn, that was some pretty good shit right there. keep on wondering if my shoulders are too big. See here. What's in here? Alrighty. Oh boy, we're down below. Hey, some gold. What do we got going on down here? This is kind of cool, though. Where does this lead to, I wonder? Probably nowhere, but still. Just a sense of adventure. That was a hell of a drop just to get down here. Alrighty. Alright, let's teleport out of here. Unironically, I am actually preparing through Dragon's Dogma 2 for Monster Hunter Wilds. Not because I expect it to be one-to-one the same, but the very least similar in terms of various mechanics. But yeah, it's probably going to be similar in its mechanics a little bit, you know? Alrighty. People are need some good healers. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Huh, look at that. Okay. Oh, look at that. My character is reacting to the fact that it's raining right now. Oh, it's just great. I love it. Oh, look at that. I'm also classified as being soaked, too. It's an actual considered debuff as well. I'm trying to remember specifically. It's like you are able to be exposed to cold and... Yeah, you're pretty much vulnerable to being cold as well as, I think, electrified as well. Although I think you do have resistance against being set ablaze. Let me see. I want to edit my current appearance because right now I feel like my shoulders are big. I don't know, maybe... Oh yeah, look at that. Just have no shoulders whatsoever. That's the game plan right there. No shoulders. Alright. Yeah, because I feel like when it comes to certain things right now, I feel like my shoulders are like really broad, especially in this armor. Let's see, is there any other stuff I got going on? I mean, everything else seems to be alright. Let's see. This is my torso width. I want my character to be like kind of bulky, but not like overly bulky. That's my issue right now. Term lean and mean anything to people? But then again, let's go with 35. Because I want my character to look decent in armor and out of armor. See here. here. There we go. As upright as a posture as I could get without it being too unnatural, I guess. And for the most part, it's just... Ugh, jeez. Is this decent? I don't know. Looks decent. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go with flat zeros all around. The armor fills. I fill out the armor, and the armor fills me out. Should I change my hairstyle? I don't know. What hairstyle would even fit this character? I mean, look at my guy. He's like the most stereotypical Asian man you've ever seen. He's Shang-Chi. He's my uncle. He's every other Asian guy you've seen in a movie. Yep. Let's go with that. I'm trying to think right now. My character is like exceptionally tall right now. My characters are exceptionally tall compared to everybody else right now. Oh my god, look at that. People react when I pull out my weapon. They think I'm gonna start something. Can you believe that? Oh, it's crazy. Alrighty. Alrighty, time to go fight Atlas, I guess. time is it right now? It's actually close to the time I should have closed off. Still though, we're here. Let's see if I could try and push on a bit more. Alrighty. Alright, my character is a fucking unit of a guy right now. The way he looks and everything, jeez, he's an absolute unit. Real quick, I want to see what the other armaments I got going on for me look like. Yes, real quick. Oh, son of a bitch. There it is. Steeled Virtue. That's the sword I was talking about. It's not that good of a sword, at least in terms of like raw damaging compared to every other sword. But it's competently decent, I'd say. Real quick, to play a little dress-up game right now. Yeah, did you look at how my character looks like without the heavy pauldrons? Not bad still, I guess. The only thing that's really sticking out to me is the elbow pads. But outside of that, it's just... it's pretty good overall. I look sleek. I look fly. Now time to look imposing and intimidating. If only I could wear my bandana while having this fiend armet over me. But, you know, what can you do, I guess? I think, yeah, it's the Subjugator's Salette that's supposed to go in there. Alrighty. Yeah, the Subjugator Salette is the one that you wear with this particular armor set. Not gonna lie, it's not bad, but at the same time I kinda wish it has like the full, like, obfuscating, like, look about it. Because it doesn't look bad, but at the same time you can clearly see through it. Whilst the Fiend Armet, well, Fiend Armet looks like this. Now, I'm surprised this wasn't part of the full, like, set to some extent. Where it has, like, I don't know, like a bit of a mouthpiece, a reinforced coif, and the like, all that jazz. But still, what can you do? Did I take out Steeled Virtue? No, I did not. I actually recently Dragon Forged my Dragon's Dogma, the sword. So that's pretty cool. I need to like reinforce and get my pawn's gear up to snuff right now.
よし、少し明日またここに来ると。
了解。そちらに戻ります。
Alrighty. We get to see a cinematic with my character just, you know, being the main character trademark. Man, I wanna beat Dragon's Dogma Mode 2 before I get to Monster Hunter Wilds. I know for a fact I'm not gonna complete Monster Hunter World in a timely fashion. But still. Alright, time to sleep again.
まだ明るいですが。さあ、体力も戻りましたね。では、眠るとします。
Alrighty. Oh my god, it's raining in the desert. Well, it's an oasis here, so... Right, let's get a move on.
Yes, 完成だ。予想以上の出来と言っていいだろう。急いでファズ様にお届けせねばならんな。お前、いや、お前ではダメだな。どうも信用できへん。走るのは苦手だが、私が届けるしかないようだ。
Oh my god. It's Tilda Swinton from Doctor Strange. From Doctor Strange.
いや、待て。気が変わった。お前に任せよう。おい、ファズ様にこれをお届けしろ。まだ遠くには行かれてないはず。
さあこれをお持ちなさい。そして月光に通れ。そこであなたの旅は終わるでしょう。いかなる結末を迎えるとしても。
You see that? It's the main character trademark. Main character trademark look. Man, there's like a lot of quests I missed out on, and I know that for a fact. Alrighty. Oh joy, we get to fight Atlas soon. That's gonna be fun. Yay. Atlas. Just great. I'm not looking forward to Atlas, mostly because of the fact that when you try and fight Atlas, he's an insufferable pain in the ass. Because you gotta climb up on him and then you gotta deal with like a whole bunch of stuff up on him. It's just awful. It's not the worst boss ever, but still, it's really up there, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's up there with just being a really, really mid-boss. He gives Wakestone shards, which kind of elevates him a bit, but still, compared to like everything else, just, yeah. This door is supposed to be closed, but because I opened it earlier, it actually is open.
私はエルフ語がわかります。話者との対話で私の存在が役に立つでしょう。
I don't want to see Atlas rising out of the water again. It's too much of a hassle and too much of a headache.
そもそも敵なのかどうか。
This is why the Medusa head is so useful, because you get to fucking speedrun this entire encounter. Outside of that, you just have to pray to God that, you know, not only you inflict enough damage, but the fact that the NPCs around you inflict enough damage for you to get on with it. It's kind of sort of like Zora Madros from Monster Hunter World, except, you know, with Zora Madros, it's kind of sort of like just a world boss encounter. Atlas is supposed to be like an individual single boss, and he's kind of shit. Oh my god, come on, let's go. Oh wait, it's not Atlas, it's Talos. That's his name. Talos.
一体あの巨像ファズスとも持っているようですね。
Alright, let's get on with it. Let's go, go, go. I know for a fact my Dragon's Dogma is not going to hold up against Atlas that much, but still. Tell you this much, I'm glad I got the, I'm glad I got some Wakestones in my back pocket, though. Makes the next encounter is going to be not easier, but at the very least more reassuring that there's a chance of surviving. There he is. There's the big man of the hour. Talos. Fucking jackass. Look at that. He's just walking over to me menacingly. No, take your time, Talos. Take your time. Up, up, there he is. There he is. He's coming up on us.
少しでも歩みを遅らせるために。
Yeah, God forbid I didn't have something to brace my fall. Good opportunity to get some wakestone shards out of him. Very useful if you want to have something that'll literally hold you over in a fight.
攻撃が来ます。
This is a lovely position I find myself in right now. Ugh, boy almighty. Yeah, this is why I don't like the fucking... This is why I don't like the fight with Atlas, because you have to fucking... God forbid you fall off him, you're fucking dead. Worst part is, I'm trying to find a place to actually hang on to him and just, you know, climb up him. So I can regenerate stamina, you know? But, fucking... There we go. Got another wake stone to heal up from. come on. Oh boy. Trying to hold on to dear fucking life right now. Oh, sweet Jesus. Everyone just shooting at fucking Talos, and you just see me hanging around on him. Like some sort of like giant flea. Come on, come on. How many hits does it take to break this damn thing? Come on, come on. Ugh, son of a bitch. Still got the two fucking rods that are in his goddamn hand and arm. I wouldn't give right now to have the fucking Medusa head that's actually usable. Oh, boy. Oh, well, his entire arm is gone, so there's that. Right, well now we gotta fucking clean this guy out now. Gotta perforate his fucking entire being. That fucking Talos is just powered by a bunch of wake stones. Ah, come on. Perforate already. Fall, Zora Madros. Fucking asshole. Keep shooting at stone. Surely it'll work. This is what I don't like about Talos. Just keeps on going. Sure, if I was a mage, I'd probably be able to, like, strike him down, like, real hard or something. Oh, just look at that. Just like that. Alrighty. Nah, what the hell, we still got some time. At least enough time for me to showcase going into, new game, into the, post-game. I hate the fact that my character and this guy share the same haircut.
では行くとしよ
I hate the fact that my character and him, we share the same fucking haircut. Ugh, jeez. Alrighty. Just the two of us.
ゆっくり見てみて。毎度ありがとう。
物資の調達は心躍ります。
Laurel Circuit braided boots. Here we go. No need to get any more pawns. Just me, myself, and I will be enough. Oh boy, I hope my 2 wake stones are going to be enough.
ちの宿舎のベッドが無理して死んじまったら元も子もない。遠慮することはないぜ。
Yeah, well, I already rested, so get off my fucking back, game. I did the hardest save I could possibly get, which was to sleep in a bed.
ふと思ったんですが、元各社、不思議な存在ですね。各社でもなくなっても特別な力は持っているようです。彼らにも強い願い、意志の力があったのでしょう。
Oh, that's just great. Well, it's a good thing I got the key for an express elevator, you know?
いせずに張ってるにゃ本当に誰か来やがるとはな。しかもそれがお前さんとはどうやら俺はついてるらしい。お前さんとは一度やり合ってみたら命をかけた勝負だ。
Here we go. Me against Killmonger, boys.
なあ、各社様よ。
ラグナ洞窟で別れて
クソみたいな人生だった。だが戦って死ねるなら
どうにかラグナル殿を倒せましたね。でも立ち止まってはいられません。先に進みましょう。
Get the fuck up. Who said you could die? It's kind of funny though, the fact that I goddamn axed him and yeah, and I got him in the end. Oh, that's great though. Just a well-placed dodge and then afterwards just 3-stroke movement. It's great. I love it. Ugh. I got nothing I could use to... There we go. Oh my god, look at that. It's, Boyle. Yeah, try and fight the will of God, why don't you, while you're at it, huh? Look at that, it's even bigger than him and everything. Fight God, why don't you, while you're at it, faces, huh? Oh my god, it's the old woman. The last person I interacted with was the old woman. Oh my god, it's that moment from the trailer though. I mean, we were close, but I didn't think we were that close, to be honest. Again, I'm not really doing it for her, but, you know, her husband. Because I feel really awkward, the fact that, you know, we were this close apparently. I didn't think we were really that close, to be honest, but hey, what do I know? Fucking old woman. Oh my god. We all come falling down. Yeah. Where's all the fishes? Oh my god. Hey, it's my turn to be seneschal, seneschal.
世界へ。
そう君のためだけの世界へ。
Nah, I'm good. I want to be God now. It's my turn.
それがあなたの意志ですか。ならばその目で確かめなさい。カゴの手の届かぬ非常なる世界へ。
Mom says it's my turn to be God. Seriously. This is how it kind of sort of feels like right now. Before it's just like, hey, it's like, hey, I'm gonna take being God from you two. Mom says it's my turn to be God. It's so stupid, yet it's so great. Oh, look at that, I'm back. And so the marathon engages now. It's no holds bar brawling time. Oh my god, Dragon's Dogma 2! It's funny to think that. It's kind of funny to see the fact that when it came to Dragon's Dogma 2, when it first released, it was just showing off Dragon's Dogma. And then now it's Dragon's Dogma 2. Find it strange?
これがあなたの願った世界。あなたは苦難の末に王となり、平穏のうちにこの世界を治めることもで世界はその可能性を失いました。ここは言うなればそうなれなかったこれまであまたの意志がこの世界をあなたはそんな世界これはその報いといえご覧なさい。
I'm trying to remember where that is. I think that's where the first landing of the Arisen is.
選ばれなかった世界読まれることのない世界はあとわずかでこの不出来な世界はそれまでの間望むのそしてあなたは気づくはずです物語られるに値しない世界があなたは耐えられますかこのか
The Arbor Wilds, Vermund, Bakbatal, and then yeah, there's some in the volcano region as well. Yeah, there it is. So, and where Atlas sits now. You wielded the God's Bane. Alrighty. Alrighty. Time to find my pawn. Where is my beloved pawn? Let's at least get her, and then I'm gonna wrap things up from there. Oh my goodness, though. Look at all this. We live in a world without God. This is atheism 101, guys. Alright, and then we're now getting like actual rift crystals and everything too. All sorts of endgame loot and all and the like. It's great. Yeah, we got all sorts of endgame loot now. Endgame enemies as well, or at the very least enemies that would normally be enemies that normally would be at the very least like restricted to certain areas have now become more available. So things like the Dullahan is now things like the Dullahan are now roaming about the world. Yeah, I can't help but think of the, like a little bit of, like I mentioned before, just like as a bit of a jab and a joke. The fact that this is what probably atheists would probably see the world as if they ever peel back the veneer of there's no God or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, this is what happens. There's no God in the world. It's literally just all red. Jeez. Alright, well, with the water now pushed back, we now have access to more of the map now. Not all of it, but enough of it. We're still on the continent. There's no water, guys. There's no water. We're all gonna die. Oh, no, there's water here still. Never mind. Look at that. Just vast swaths of fuck off nothingness.
ポーンは各社の生命力を受け不死を保っている。さて、まずはお互いに情報の交換をすべきだ。バタルのそばで倒れているのを偶然発見。そなたのポーンだと気づき、世界のこの変化についてだが、ひょっとするとそなたならばすでに理解しているだろう。そなたが赤き竜と共に消えてしばし、それからおよそ1ヶ月、空より舞う。少し前に核戦士の彼女によれば、その他の場所が餌食となる。そうか、そなたが来たのならば目も覚まさぬ聞かせてくれ。各社。
Oh, it's been a month. Oh my god.
なるほど、それが世界の死。何故そのようなものが海に。
The world forged? Oh, my ass. He's seneschal. It's my turn to be God. Mom said so.
マスター、長い間眠っていたようですね。ですが、もう心配はいりません。参りましょう。
Yeah.
クラーク殿に頼まれたフルビオ殿はバタルに住んでいるようです。
Alrighty. Good enough place to end things off on, I suppose. Alrighty. Well, that's the end of that for today. So, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I apologize for the good, what was it, nearly 2 hours of me rambling on about shit that is... Alright, yeah. So, apologize if my ramblings deterred you. I hope that I will try and make my next stream a little less rambly and more concise, in which I will hope that is tomorrow, but I will not hold my breath over that, to say the least. My next stream is likely to be ways out, and yeah. So, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this stream. If you want to see more, I'll be streaming again, possibly tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. I'm hoping it's tomorrow. But if not that, then whenever I can help it. So, yeah. Till then, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.